Okay, let's discuss the functions and exactly how you can operate the ET-300. This video is really overdue. We've been teaching for years and years. Clients are still struggling, even the ones we meet in person. They take their remote out of function and don't know how to get it back. It's listed in the lesson plan, but you know, it's a bit easier when you can look over video. The video will show you for it. So here we go. Out of the box. Whether you get one from us or you get one through Amazon, or you know, we're teaching in person, or you found us a different way, it's remotely through Patreon or something like that. But this is what you're going to get. Okay, you have your remote, you have your collar. Now this is a different strap. This is an option that you can purchase through eCollar Technologies. We make our own. Additionally, we also may require for long-haired dogs to get the long hair contacts. So what you can see is the bungee strap, right? It should be comfortable, and the more comfortable it is, the more often the dogs are going to wear it. You're going to feel better about them having it on more consistently, and wearing it more consistently means training more consistently. Additionally, we always like to encourage clients to use a set of magnets, right? These peel apart, set them inside your pocket, one side in the pocket, one side out, and then you can twist apart like this. All right, so the video really is about how to make sure that your collar's turned on and make sure the functions are set up correctly. It makes a huge, huge difference. And if you remember from in-person training, we press the button and give stimulation until completion or change in behavior. Okay? You'll hear us say on until completion or change in behavior. So what we found is some of the clients, they come to training and it's in the wrong function. It's in momentary. Momentary, you get a quarter second no matter how long you push the button. So pushing and holding the button on momentary is giving your dog premature negative reinforcement. Remember, any reinforcement is to encourage behavior. Negative reinforcement means you have turned the stimulation off. Okay, you've removed something uncomfortable, but you're marking that good behavior by removing the stimulation. If you remove the stimulation too early, you might just be teaching your dog that whatever behavior they're doing in the moment, that they've completed it. And that's not what you want. You want to be absolutely sure. All right, so looking at the face of the remote, in order to turn it on, the center button here in the back, okay, it's going to be just next to the magnet. The magnet, again, is for the way that you can just place it on your belt, place it in your pants, things like that. So just in the very center below this magnet, you want to push and hold. All right, let's turn around. So I will push and hold. It says on off, and it also says light. Push and hold the middle here. Okay, red light should come on. And if the screen turns blue, it's on. All right, now reverse it to turn it off. There we are, it's off. Okay, so let's get it back on again. Let's run through the functions. Pretty much right out of the box, if you were to order it from somebody else other than us, because we program for everybody, we make sure that your strap is set up correctly. Magnets have been added, the proper contacts have been added. However, you know, let's say you do get one from Amazon, you've tried to do it yourself, you realize that it might be a little bit too much for you to handle, and you came to us. We can certainly get you set up, but this video should help too. That's the whole point. All right, so you'll see here, you know, you have 1D will flash in the middle. We'll run some side videos so you can see this a little bit closer. 1D will flash. That means that it is unlocked. The stimulation is unlocked. Now you also see an M and a C. M means momentary. So, for example, I will press it on momentary. Okay. The numbers don't make a difference at this point, but look at the red light on the remote. When the red light is on the remote, that is how long stimulation lasts. Okay? So to press and hold momentary, okay? Just that fast, it's off, okay? And I'm still holding. Now, what we want to do is we want to reassign that button, okay? In the manual, that's the S1 button. The M and C button on the back, okay? Not the power button, but M and C, it's the smaller one. Press and hold that and it changes your function. So let's press it right here, okay? Now the screen also will change, and this red light, it'll show you that you're running through the functions here. It makes an audible tone as well. Here we are. Press and hold. Okay, when you hear the audible tone, you change functions. Now we have just M. That means you only have momentary for this button and for this button. It's not what you want. All right, again, press and hold the small button, the M and C button on the back. Audible tone means that it has changed functions again. All right, now we see just the C for continuous. Again, the numbers right now are not important, but that C, just the C on the screen, that means continuous. All right, you've completely changed the functions, likely from what was sent from the factory. If you got it from us, we're going to make sure that it's right from the very beginning. But what if you push the M and C button thinking it's the power button and you turn the functions into something else? You meant to turn it off. It happens a lot. It happened earlier this morning, and the client didn't know that it had been taken out of settings. Makes a huge difference, and by only using momentary, right, you've given a very quick stimulation. It's a quarter second, and then it's over. Doesn't matter how long you push it. So that dog was being reinforced when it was still, for example, trying to jump from the back seat to the front seat, and they were moving the dog and pushing the button. So it became very much surrounded around conflict. Pushing the dog without stimulation, the dog actually likes it. It would rush forward, they would push it back. It would rush forward, they'd push it back. And then the mouthing began. And then as they would push harder, more conflict, the dog would snap at them. Thinking that on momentary it was giving stimulation the whole time, it's not. It's momentary. It's not on continuous. Now, I think dogs should be restrained in the car in a kennel or some sort of partition, but if you don't have that option, at least make sure your equipment is set right, okay? So we're on continuous here. I will show you exactly what I mean. Now it times out after 10 seconds. However, I will push and hold S1 button. You'll see the red light turn on, and it stays on, okay? After 10 seconds, the manufacturer thinks you might have pushed it by accident, so it'll turn off. You'll see it turn off now. So if that happens during training, turn it right back on until you get completion. Realistically, if it takes more than 10 seconds for you to get completion or change in behavior, you might need to try something else. So you need to make sure that leash movement, movement protocols, that you're helping your dog complete something through movement so you can turn this off. Lots of different methods. It's another video, but this is about function, okay? So press and hold for continuous, because only the C is on the screen. That's what we want to go for. All right, let's talk about Boost. Boost is really important. It's one of the reasons why we chose this brand over other brands, and I was exclusive to one particular brand. It was a very well-known brand. A lot of handlers still use them. I don't think that they are as user-friendly as this particular brand. Not only that, but this operates, of course, as a contraction or medical TENS unit type of system. Rather than the concept of giving shock, this gives a contraction of muscle. All right, so Boost. From the factory again, you probably will be set at +5. +5 is not enough. When you have dangerous behavior and the S2 button or the red button here, it needs to be set at a level that gives an uncomfortable sensation to your dog. It should be uncomfortable. Your dog should not want it to be repeated. In turn, behavior should not be repeated. They're making the association to this particular behavior comes with an uncomfortable sensation. There's lots of degrees of uncomfortable. I talk a lot about if a fly were to land on my arm, I don't particularly want it there. It's not painful, but it's uncomfortable. So if I swat at it with my hand, it goes away. Teach the dog through movement drills how to make the fly go away, the stimulation stop. Sometimes you need a higher level, and that's because your dog is intensified with dangerous behavior, okay? So we're gonna change the boost setting. Now we have to go all the way back through functions. It has to be on momentary, and it has to be set to 0. So we're gonna go find the MC button on the back. We're gonna push and hold. Audible tone means it has changed functions. Now we see M and C on the front. It's not what we want. One more time. There it is. Now just M. Lower the dial all the way to 0. And that's program mode. M and 0 is program mode. Now, push and hold the S1 button. That's the black button right here. And you're going to push and hold it until the 0 turns into a 1. Okay, about 4 or 5 seconds. 1's flashing. Use your dial up here. And we typically set ours at plus 15. That depends on the dog. Once you get the number that you like, push S1 again. And you should be programmed. Boost is 15 now. All right, we need to go out of momentary. We need to go back to continuous mode. Push M and C on the back. Audible tone means it's changed function. And as it cycles through, right, this one cycled through, the next one is now continuous. All right, so let's look at this. If your dog is at a teaching level of 10, right, the black button, the S1 button here, all right, that's 10. Now, you need a little bit more stimulation. It needs to be more uncomfortable because your dog's behavior has become dangerous. Press the red button, all right? It is plus 15 of whatever is on the screen here. So 10 becomes 25, all right? 10 for this button, now 25 for this button. All right, some people get it confused. Some people think that's automatic 25 for this button, but this button can change to, let's say, a 20. So 20 for this button, 25 for this button. That's not the case. It's always plus 15. All right, so we have 20 here. Plus 15 and how much? 35, right? Always plus 15. So boost can be set anywhere from 5 to 60. We find 15 is kind of the magic number. Maybe it's another video to where we talk about teaching level, we talk about consequence level, and then we talk about dangerous behavior level. But this will get you through the functions. All right, so you have your collar, okay? You have your strap with your bungee, which is really important. To turn the collar on, all right, red dot. Those are just magnets, okay? If you have the magnet set, here it is. Just touch it to the top, okay? You'll see a green light turn on, and I'll show everybody else. As you touch, right? Green light. Now give it a second, make sure it flashes. Flashing is standby. That's all there is to it. Now, one feature about this, a lot of people don't use it. I use it really often with my dogs when I walk in the evening and it's dark out, all right? You have a built-in strobe on this particular receiver here. This is a receiver, of course this is a strap. Together it makes a collar, right? All right, so at night, turn the strobe on so cars can see your dog. In the middle here, the power button, just tapped one time, will cycle through the strobe function, okay? Press and hold to turn on and off. Tap once to cycle through strobe, okay? Right here in the center. I'll tap it, and now it's on flash. Tap it again. Now it's on constant. Tap it in and it's off. The collar's not off, just the light is off. All right, so in another video we'll talk about the 302. That is one remote and two collars. So you can work two dogs with just one remote. So something I forgot to mention, charging, right? Here is the remote on the back, okay? You have a rubber cover here. Peel that open. Do the same thing with your receiver. Okay, peel this open. Now, in the box, here's your power cord, okay? Goes to the wall. Pigtail, one for the receiver, one for the remote. Okay, place that in here, simple, one for each. All right, let's talk about battery time. Your receiver here, as it flashes green, right? We'll give it a second so you can see it. Flashes green. Flashes green means that it's fully charged. Flashes orange means you're about halfway through a charge. Flashes red, you need to hurry up and do what you gotta do, finish up training and get it plugged in. Realistically, you can go days without charging them. Depends on how much you use them. Let's just say you have one collar and you're working 3 or 4 dogs on one collar. You might need to charge it every day, but it'll tell you because it'll flash orange, it'll flash red. 2-hour quick charge if it's completely dead. You know, charge it at night when you go to sleep, unless you have problems in the kennel and you need to have it on. So, you know, pick an opportunity when you're giving your dog a rest. When it doesn't need to be on, that's a good time to charge. Placement, another thing that we should have talked about. Placement should be on the side of the neck, okay? It has to touch to work. I don't know how many times I can say that. It has to touch to work. If it is just dangling on the side of the neck, okay, it's not gonna work. It's just not. You're gonna think it's too tight. Look how much movement there is here, right? All right, it should be slightly engaged. This is shock cord or bungee cord. It should be slightly engaged so that it fits snug. You should not be able to put your fingers underneath the contacts and your dog's skin. It should be resting right up there. Now, if you reach under and you pull it apart off of the dog's skin, that's different, but you should not be able to put your fingers under there. If you run a different setup, we use actually use stainless steel wing nuts. It has a good balancing effect. This one's right out of the box. If you had to go find those, I think they're 6/30 seconds. Hardware store, just pick some up. They're 40 cents a piece. If you have a dog like a Husky, German Shepherd, Malinois, Golden Retriever, you need the winged contacts from the company. They're absolutely worth it. It gets underneath that double coat. These will work just fine, but if you're having trouble with connection and fit, switch to something else, okay? Now, if you touch your own neck, right, you have very little muscle here. That's where the prong collar goes. It's that pinpoint sensation here. Now, move your hand down to the base of your neck. You have a much wider muscle here. This gives a contraction of the muscle. There has to be muscle in order for it to contract. The larger the muscle, the more contraction. Actually, the lower the numbers, the lower it'll be, because you're getting good contact on a large muscle group and it will contract. All you want to do is remotely give punishment. And if you get that contraction, you get a little startle in order to interrupt behavior, right? That's what you're looking for. So, numbers don't have to be high, but technique has to be proper. Every few hours, switch it from left to right, right to left. If you're in a healing exercise, the receiver should sit on the side of the neck closest to the handler. So right here at their leg, it should be directly next to it. If it's on the opposite side, you get a contraction of the muscle and they turn their head towards the box itself, and then you have to call your dog and they redirect to then look at you. it's extra steps. So around the house, very basic stuff where you have, you're trying to discourage jumping, things like that. Set up the opposite side of the handler. When you're doing healing exercises, right next to where the handler is.